I have a recipe for a summer vegetable parmesan and basil fettuccine that you're just gonna love. It's a great way to sneak a whole lot of veggies into the kids' pasta dish. They won't even know it's there. They'll really enjoy it. And it's a really quick and easy meal. This is how you do it. You start off with the fettuccine and you throw it into a large pot of boiling, lightly salted water. Pop that in. Now, you're thinking to yourself, why is he putting the pasta in first? Surely that's going to take the most amount of time. It does take the most amount of time, but we can do all of this in the time it takes to cook the pasta, and that's the beauty of the recipe. I've got a red capsicum. I'm just going to cut both the top and bottom off, and then just run your knife straight down the side of the capsicum, and then just open it up and get rid of all of those seeds, okay? So that's the easiest way to do it. Then you can just sort of cut it in half, and if you need to, run your knife along and remove those little white pieces on the inside. I'm going to cut them in half, put a couple on top of each other, and then just cut them into pretty thin strips. I'm cutting it nice and thin because I want to cook it fast. I've got a nice pan over here that's been preheating, so it's nice and hot, a little bit of olive oil, and you just throw your capsicum straight in. There you go. So you'll see nice hot pan. Once you hear that sizzle, just give it a stir, and then we move on to the next ingredient. So, beautiful fresh corn. I love it. It's the perfect thing in summer. It's really high in fibre, really, really good for you. So I'm just going to go ahead with my sharp knife. 2 cobs of corn. Okay, and we just go ahead, scoop up the corn and add it to the capsicum. Beautiful, fresh summer ingredients. I love it. Give that a stir around. Now you'll notice when I first put my veggies in here, you heard this severe sizzle, right? This aggressive kind of a saute happening. Now what happens when you add cold vegetables to a hot pan is you lower the temperature of the pan, okay? Which is fine. What we're trying to do is get a little bit of colour on the veggies, so it doesn't matter if it's really hot because you're going to lower that temperature when you throw the veggies in. Looking great. So, our capsicum and corn are cooking away. A couple of zucchini. I'm just going to cut the tops and bottoms off. Cut the zucchini into the same length that you cut the capsicum. So I'm going to cut them in half, go down and cut around the centre of the zucchini. So you always give yourself a flat surface to cut from, so it's not going to roll around. You can go ahead and slice up your zucchini into little sort of matchstick lengths. I can hear that corn popping and sizzling away. It sounds delicious. Every couple of minutes or so, you just come back over to your fresh veggies and just give them a good stir around. So there you go. Once you've finished this dish, you'll understand that there is absolutely no need to open a jar of pasta sauce ever again, because you can make your own pasta sauce using beautiful seasonal ingredients that taste great, much better for you. Now the pasta's been going for 5 minutes or so, so I'm just going to come over, have a little look, give the fettuccine just a swirl around to make sure it's not sticking together. Now the idea with this dish, or any dish that you're cooking, is you start off with the ingredient that's going to take the longest. In this case, the pasta, of course, but when it comes to the sauce, the capsicum's going to take the longest, then the corn, both pretty quick to cook. The zucchini only takes a minute or so to cook, so that goes in after this stuff, and the tomatoes as well cooks really, really fast. So we've cut all of the veggies that we're going to put into it. I've got a couple of cloves of garlic here, so I'm going to go ahead and just sort of crush those up. Chop the garlic. Scoop that up and add that to your pan. As soon as you add it to the pan, it just bursts up with this incredible flavour, fills the room of love. Give it a good shake. Once that garlic's mixed through, time to add your zucchini. Throw it in. So have a look at these beautiful colours. You've got the green from the zucchini and the bright red and yellow from the corn and the capsicum. There's nothing better than fresh veggies to bring beautiful colour and beautiful flavour to a dish, and I just love the look of this. Okay, I'm going to give a pinch of salt, I always add a little pinch of salt during the cooking because what happens is you start to draw out some of that natural flavour. Salt also adds flavour, but the other job it does is a drawing agent. So it draws some of that flavour out, which is just great. Time for the tomatoes. So the cherry tomatoes that I've already cut, perfect summer ingredient. You just go ahead, throw those little fresh things in there, give it a good stir. I like to pick the whole pot up and give it a bit of a shake. Beautiful. Let's check our pasta. Fettuccine. Look at that, beautiful. Now, the only way you can really tell where the pasta's cooked is to taste it. You just pull out one piece and just bring it over here. Now, you can either cut it with a knife or you can just break it in your hands, but what you're looking for is just a little bit of white on the inside of that pasta, which means al dente, okay? So al dente actually translates to the tooth. So if you bite it and you just feel it a little bit on your teeth, then you know you're ready to go. You don't want it to be crunchy or chewy, you just want it to be still tender. I think that's pretty good. So now you're seeing these beautiful fresh veggies just transform into a delicious sauce. As the bottom of the pan's starting to stick and turn caramel brown, we're getting beautiful sweetness and flavour out of those veggies. So just stir it around. Our pasta's almost done, which means our dish is nearly ready. I'm going to take just a little bit of this fresh basil. You need like maybe 1/4 of a cup or something like that. And I'm going to chop that up nice and fine and put that in. A little bit of lemon juice, just to sort of break it up a little bit with some acidity. Put 1/4 cup of the Aussie Parmesan cheese into the dish and use another 1/4 cup to garnish it. So you go ahead, grate that in, have a look at our pasta. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Turn that off and bring it over. And then what you're going to do is just, of course you can use a colander if you prefer, but I'm just going to pick it up. I don't mind a little bit of that pasta water falling into the dish because that's just going to help to make the sauce. Scoop it up. Grab yourself a pair of tongs and you want to just sort of move that around the pan, give it a shake. Now don't forget, we just added all of that pasta, so we need a little bit of seasoning, some salt, and some freshly ground black pepper. Look at these colours, it's just beautiful. Perfect, fresh ingredients to create a delicious pasta dish that your family's going to love. And it happened all in the amount of time that it took to cook the fettuccine. Now, if the pasta's looking like it's sticking a little bit or if it's looking a little dry, just grab a large spoon, take a spoon of that pasta water and add it to your dish. You could also add some extra virgin olive oil if you wanted to. It'd make it a little bit richer. And then just give it a shake. Okay, so bring your pot across. What we're going to do next, pick up a nice big generous portion. Of course, if you want to serve this family style, you put it in a big dish and you let everyone help themselves. I get just a few more basil leaves and I just tear those over the top of the pasta and you get this beautiful fragrance from the basil. And then to finish it, some more of that Aussie Parmesan cheese, grate it over there. And I tell you what, for a meal that takes 20 minutes or so to cook, less than $10, you can't go wrong.